shut him down.
So what are you guys thinking for the next map? What could the Netherlands take Poland to here?
What do you think?
I think Netherlands need to change it up slightly. They need to get away from the early game where Poland have complete free reign on them, and they need to get a foothold even at level 10, and I think they have a chance.
I think they need to go for a different battleground as well. They cannot go for a battleground like, let's say, Tomb or Towers of Doom, where it is always kind of dictated where you can engage from. You need to be able to surprise your opponents. So maybe in a standard Infernal Shrine game, Cursed Hollow, maybe even just something like Braxis Holdout is going to work better for them, where there's more movement freedom to really engage upon them.
Well, Braxis is unfortunately banned.
Oh, it was banned.
For the Infernal Shrines myself.
Yeah.
They have gone for Cursed Hollow, so they do go for one of Hendrik's picks here. Once again, like you said, they do have multiple engage options here, and they can avoid the early game at least until there's 2 tributes in the opponent's favor.
Yeah, that's a good point. On Cursed Hollow, you no longer need to rush for that early game. You don't have to be at the objective in order to deny a turn-in, for example. You can take your time, you get value elsewhere. You can even go for global plays, which could also benefit the Dutch team.
So we are getting ready to head into the draft for this game number 2. Can the Netherlands turn it around? They even got some comfort picks last time, and Poland were able to take them out. But different map, different style, and remember, guys, to keep voting for your favorite team, the one you think is going to win this series. Hashtag PLWin for Team Poland, and hashtag NLWin for Team Netherlands.
And I know that the Dutch fans are going to go crazy right now in Twitch chat. They really need to fire up their boys so they will stay in this series, which is so important for them.
Send them your energy, Dutch team fans. For now, though, Poland are getting the first ban.
All right, first ban. We saw Greymane coming out last time. It was the Dutch team, though, who banned him. So let's see if the Polish team is going to follow suit here, or if they have something else prepared. To be honest, judging how the first game went, I don't think they have to fear any particular hero in that case right now, so maybe just go for something standard, Tassadar maybe, something like a Rhaegar, if you don't want to pick it yourself, of course.
After that game 1, I think we really need to ask the question, just how good is Poland? Because the Netherlands looked convincing against Spain, but it was not 3 levels like Poland just demolished Netherlands.
Yeah, very true. I mean, against the Spanish team, it was a way closer affair here. The way the Polish team plays, they're definitely one of the most solid and reliable teams that we've seen in the Nexus game thus far.
So far, absolutely, along with one of the other teams we will be seeing today, Russia. So it will be interesting when we get to see those 2 teams battle it out if they both make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, Russia, the Polish team, Spain, even Sweden, who's still in the mix, and Team Germany, who nobody expected. Those are the teams right now that I really want to see in the playoffs.
So Tassadar, like you said earlier, is the safe ban, and we do see it removed here for Team Poland. Netherlands, last time they banned out Greymane, they just had first pick though then.
Yeah, and what do you do against the potential Chromie? Because it could be picked here, don't you think, Bakery? How good of a hero is Chromie here in Cursed Hollow?
Cursed Hollow is a map that Chromie doesn't like, but she's okay with.
Right.
She can definitely be late picked, and she has fantastic value in stalling tributes and those long fights that we tend to see, especially in the mid-game. But she does have weaknesses. Cursed Hollow is a map that's also about camp taking and tower pushing. So Chromie very much lacks in those areas. Abatha, a pick we haven't seen much this tournament.
Yeah,
but
second time, right?
I think so, yeah. But in HGC, this is a very scary opening from Poland.
And this maybe indicates how much of a professional influence there is in the Polish team. I mean, Tetra, you said it. Almost all of their players have participated in the Open Division.
Yep.
Some of them actually are close to making it at the HGC at some point.
2 of them made it to the Crucible.
There we go.
The last bastion of defense before making it into HGC. They fell at that hurdle, but it was by no means an easy or one-sided situation.
Yeah, very true. And the Abathur is so hard to play against sometimes because no longer can you always guarantee, you know, a numbers advantage. Abathur can appear at any given moment anywhere, and if the Polish team manages to maybe sneak in only 1 or 2 tributes early on, they basically compensate what his greatest weaknesses is. So it also opens a lot of combos. The Greymane potentially, even a Genji compy. There's a lot of good targets these days.
This is why Netherlands' move here to take the Greymane away is very clever.
Well, Poland are moving towards a more high-level meta, I would say. The Netherlands are sticking with the Nexus Games tournament map we've seen developing.
Right.
The classic Veigar and also Greymane. Both solid picks, but Poland most likely have free reign on what they want to draft here.
Yeah, the Genji could definitely be one of those weapons, one of those heroes that Gugus, I imagine Gugus to be on the Genji potentially if he gets locked in, and it just fits his style, like the highly mobile, the highly mechanical heroes. We saw him on Tracer, the Karzim last game was godlike.
We also have a couple hero combos who we haven't seen for a while. If we go all the way back, of course, the Jaina Abathur combo was way back a while ago. If we go back to mid-season Brawl, there's the potential Chen combo that we used to see with Abathur. But we are sticking with that Genji, the double Genji combo we've seen so often nowadays.
So is Gugus going to be on the Karzim again, or is that going to be Arjuf this time around?
I think it might be Arzuf. I think Karazim, when you pick it with an Abathur, picking another support gets quite hard to justify. He's not bad as a solo support, especially with those Abathur shields and possibly the shielding, healing build that he can go for. At the same time, this is an absolutely brutal dive combination with possibly double Genji, possibly Genji with Hat, and Karazim following them in.
Very true, and all of these heroes so far, even the Karazim himself, like you said, with Hat, is a scary target. Other heroes, they still need a tank for themselves. Muradin is still available. He's like one of the most go-to Abathur Hat tanks. Arthur's, for similar reasons. Even a Nubrak can get some solid value there if they maybe wanted to steal that from the Netherlands.
I would really like to see an Arthas, to be honest. I think Arthas provides great synergy with the Genji. It makes it so much harder for the enemies to run away from him. Also, he counters Greymane super hard. He's a very solid tank to hold those choke points in front of the Tribute. Wouldn't hate seeing him.
We see Tyrael removed here. Tyrael, very solid with these kind of all-in Abathur comps, dropping a Sanctification, allowing the Abathur clone especially to get maximum possible value.
I hope this indicates that the Netherlands are looking for a Muradin pick, because otherwise, Poland was fine with Muradin or Tyrael. They thought both would have been really good for them. So if the Netherlands do not pick Muradin, then that might have been a wasted ban.
Yeah, now we see the Brightwing coming in here as the second ban for the Polish team. And that is a very nice choice because what stops hardcore engaging? Disengage. And Brightwing is probably one of the most super reliable support heroes in that department.
And also a fantastic counter to the Genji.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, Polymorph and Emerald Wind, wonderful abilities for that kind of scenario. And of course, this is a very large map. We cannot count out the global soak potential, especially when you're already playing against an Abathur. So, Netherlands need tank. You said you wanted them to lean towards the Muradin.
But at the same time, it is B-Guy.
Yeah, the B-Guy loves his Anubarak. Potentially both. Double tank is a possibility here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like, you also need to make sure, in my opinion, that the Netherlands picks heroes that are, or warriors more precisely, that are kind of mobile. Because they need to be able to follow the speed of someone like Genji and Karzim. A Nubrak can very well do that. Even a Dehaka, who, once he completed all of his stacks, can become a true mastermind when it comes to following people with his movement speed.
So it's not Muradin. What do you think of the Dehaka?
I like Dehaka. I think it's a global, which is what you need to do to play against this Abathur and to stay in the game. But at the same time, I do feel like this is vulnerable. Dehaka is not a laner that can actually push very hard into Abathur. And while they do have Veigar Greymane, they are also very vulnerable to the Karazim Genji plus Abathur Hat dive onto that. So, from what I can see, it looks like Poland are going to have complete control over this, over the way that the game plays.
Double resets, potential clones on Li Ming or Genji. Hats for Arthas, Genji, and Karazim. I don't think I've ever seen a Hat Li Ming, but we have seen a couple auto-attack builds throughout this tournament. Attack speed buff for the charge strikes.
And most importantly, we have seen Li Ming copies. So if the Genji is nowhere near to be found, or if he's even down very quickly, you can still fall back on another target where you get tons of value from.
It's becoming very clear that Poland has based their entire preparation off of BlizzCon and the HCC finals that were played there. They are completely emulating that style of play, and as we saw last game, they did it very successfully.
All right.
So, we are down to game number 2. This could be Poland securing their second win and moving themselves into a 2-0 in the table, or this could be the Netherlands comeback. The chat seems to believe that Poland might have a slight advantage here. What do you guys think of the drafts, and who do you think could come out here?
I would lean towards what Twitch chat says, not just because Twitch chat is always right, but because so far when we've seen a strong team go for double reset in the Nexus games, it normally worked really well. And I think if there's one team that can make the style work, it's Poland.
They have arguably the five best performing players in the tournament so far. They're the best team so far, in my opinion. My vote's on Poland.
So both of our casters going for Poland here. I'm also going to lean towards Poland. I think that Abathur clone could be absolutely devastating on any of the heroes it is placed onto. So, final words. Is there anything special you think you could see here?
I would love to see a game 3, let's face it. I want the Dutch team to do well and take at least one game, but it's going to be hard for them. But it's possible.
It is, in fact, possible. And here is the team, though, looking to shut down the hopes and dreams. Kendrick, who are they?
They are Team Poland with Gugus, Zadoon, Arjiv, Mana, and last but not least, of course, we're going to have to keep an eye on Abathur. And you know what? I'm really excited to see what Abathur can do.
And on the right-hand side, it is Team Netherlands with B-Guy on Anub, Admos on Greymane, 6 on the Gul'dan, Zavalosh on the Rhaegar, and chilling in the mid lane, it's Dark Omicron with already
giving us a nice
lovely
show.
Dancing.
Here we go. I didn't know the Haka had those moves in him.
He does. His B is actually better than his dance animation, I would argue, as Atmos immediately starts on this tower, but the Abathur shield actually preventing some of that early tower attempt.
And not just preventing damage is what Abathur is good at, also striking back with those symbiote hats. You can put them on structures, don't forget about that, and it's sometimes really crucial to do that.
Atmos got chunked there by that Abathur counter damage, which was very cool to see. As we see Genji hovering around the side. Engaging into here would be very, very rough, but he's still going to try, at least to try and slow down this push potential. It's basically a 3 versus 4 here with the help of that Abathur hat. Abathur, body-wise, has decided to disappear into the mid lane.
Exactly. The Gul'dan is so strong when it comes to initiating those early game pushes. The AoE damage, demolishing minion waves very quickly, and then on top of that, the Anubarak. Anubarak is so good at pushing structures, not just because he's tanky and all, but because of the Beetles. The Beetles will intercept aggro from towers and forts, so that saves a lot of health and pressure on your fellow heroes.
Exactly, really helps him in those push potentials here, which it's what we attempted to see in the early game, but unfortunately Greymane was what drew a lot of that aggro, thanks to Li Ming blowing up some Beetles.
Nice damage here by Gugus, doesn't even have to use any of his fancy engagement abilities, but B-Guy just casually using the healing fund, and the Netherlands, they go back to pushing where they stopped earlier. In the meantime, those Six in trouble, and I think that's first blood for Team Poland.
Nicely done by Genji and Arthas, picking up that kill and actually denying anyone in the lane from soaking XP here. And they've proxied the lane so far that at least a couple minions will probably die on the tower here. Yeah, all but 2.
Zavalosh going in. He can be a very aggressive support player, as we have elaborated earlier when they played against Spain.
So the towers are out of ammo here. That could have been so much worse if they had the ammo. They Netherlands would have lost a significant amount more XP. But like you said, Zavalosh coming up to help with this, clearing the lane, and is now moving on to the mercenary camps, as Rhaegar is very effective at doing. Greymane also effective, so they are going to double camp this, and both teams are.
I think they're using 2 heroes to clear these siege giants so they can get back in lane a little bit quicker, and also to have a stronger rotation and a faster rotation to that early tribute location. Because oftentimes, when you take too long to clearing those siege giants, one hero arriving late at a tribute location can oftentimes be the difference between taking it or having to giving it up.
And that early tribute location is going to be very much in favor of the prior positioning of the Netherlands. Zavalosh is spotted by a mine here, but 6 is here to assist in zoning. Here comes the rest of Poland, though. Everyone except Abathur and Haka are already down here, and the position is taken over by Poland, at least to start with.
Yeah, Team Poland, all they need to do right now is just stall it out, so Abathur gets a longer period of time where he can use his global presence, where they can then fight with a copy later on, and they have fantastic heroes to achieve exactly that. The Genji poke, the Li Ming poke most importantly. All those abilities, those long-range abilities, can be used to interrupt the Netherlands over and over again.
Focus onto B-Guy. He tunnels out, but gets finished off. Gul'dan is dropping very solid damage from behind, and with the help of Dahaka coming in, they're going to attempt to grab something. The dude drops the root and allows himself the escape here, and they are able to, we see the team of the Netherlands able to dodge the ult nicely, but not able to pick up the kill, and with Dahaka no longer soaking, there is very little purpose for them to stay here.
Yeah, so what they're going to do now is they're going to try to stay close and prevent the Polish team from taking it themselves. Zavalosh needs to be really careful. I'm not sure if Rhaegar is normally the best target to do that. The Fair Lunch can oftentimes expose him, and it is 6. Speaking of getting exposed, easy pickup for Gugus on the Gengu.
Beautifully done by Gugus. The second the drain was dropped onto him, the fastest damage potential, he activated the deflex and was able to turn it round.
Heck, that almost looked too easy. I don't really know what 6 was doing there. He was already sitting at 40%, 50% health, and to expose himself like that to a Genji that can get reinforced by an Abathur at any given moment is very reckless.
Very reckless indeed. Potentially, he'd already grabbed Fountain. He was sort of healing over time, and he tried to drain. It doesn't do damage, and it was deflected anyway, but it does lots of it does stuff quickly, which is what Genji is able to counter.
Yeah, it is really awkward to see a team with Abathur dominate the early game on Curse Hollow. Normally, it should always be the other way around, and you need the momentum because Abathur later on at level 10 is going to add so much more value, so you need to make sure that you build up a nice foundation in the early stages.
Abathur teams usually gain value on this map by losing the first tribute, but losing it very slowly.
Yes.
The idea is to have Abathur split soak a lane, but so far that's not been the case. They've been able to split soak more because the Hag had to come down to help lose the fight because the Netherlands weren't able to take it. Abathur was able to keep soaking, and they were able to get the tribute.
Very solid cleanse here by Zavalosh, by the way, making sure that Gul'dan doesn't fall prey to another engage by the Polish team again. And the Comicron needs to be careful. He's now getting chased after by Arthas, who was mounted, but thanks to the race car build, his level 1 allows him to escape. Very nicely done.
Yes, it does. He is able to flee back to the rest of his team, back to his own base, sorry. Whereas in the bot lane, though, there is still some pressure being made as Poland pick up yet another tribute. 2 out of 3 for them, but the counter pressure, this could be the first fall of the game. No, B-Guys, they're going to focus down the fountain. They don't want to stay here anymore.
Yeah, and Wolfsy on the Abathur is just doing a wonderful job to always appear where it's needed. He seems to have the perfect game sense of knowing when to arrive. Zavalosh, in the meantime, going for another round here with those Siege Giants. Very nicely done. Are they going to actually stall it up? No, they pick it up immediately, and that's fine. Level 9 now for both teams, but of course level 10 is a little bit closer for the Polish team.
Yes, they are, and no charge strikes Cannoneer build for Li Bing to potential combo of Abathur. Instead, setting up for the reset with that dominance. If she's able to get the reset with the help of Abathur, then that will still give her the health back.
Gugus immediately going for his favorite target 6 right now. He really seems to have developed a liking to Gul'dan. We can't really blame him. And just in case you're wondering, hey, why are these two casters constantly talking about Cannoneer, Li Ming, and auto attack stuff?
Yeah,
and work on her. There are famous, or rather famous, defenders of that build. Liquid Nurok, for example, he posted a tweet a couple of days ago saying it's much better than many people think it is.
Yeah, and we have already seen it over the last couple of days. So
nice interrupt.
Worth mentioning. Dragonblade having to be used as a potential escape ability. The Deflect will have to be used to keep him alive. Greybane has died elsewhere. Dragonblade and the health, the Deflect and the Abathur shield will keep Genji alive. But now he needs to get resets to get some value out of this. Double Genji has arrived. Wolf's going to begin to poke down and try and force back the members of the Netherlands. Dark Omicron, though, interrupting the channel. And meanwhile, this fort is very slowly dying.
Yeah, this is good for their planes here.
Ancestral and Horrify, they're turning it round with those level 10s as they're trying to focus down. The Abathur clone will expire here as the real Genji comes in. Down goes the Nubrak very quickly. Dark Omicron, though!
Oh no, he's not going to get it.
Almost gets it, but Mana with the Disintegrate is able to deny it from max range.
Yeah, very nice escape here by Dark Omicron as well here, reducing the losses of the Dutch team, and they only had to suffer B-Guy, unfortunately, once again. But it is not like they were not getting anything out of it. The bottom fort from the Team Poland here, as you can see, has fallen. The curse is now on their side, though. They can definitely strike back. But what I really wanted to highlight here was the beautiful save by Wolfsy on that Abathur, preventing the slow and painful poison death on Genji. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Genji
kept him in the fight too. Without him, they couldn't have done it.
Exactly. Genji was able to regen up and was able to survive with the help of the combo of that Abathur shield and his own deflect, because somehow he can deflect being self-poisoned.
Yeah. He cut the leeches out of his body.
But this time he did survive, and like you said, he was able to rejoin the fight and help his team secure this curse, as B-Guy is once again being forced back.
Absolutely, and Zadoon and that Arthas is just a stalwart defender here right now. He's able to tank so much damage, and 13 now being around the corner. Dehaka doing a good job those defending top lane. He may be able to save top. No, Abathur has a word to say about it.
Drags the Abathur hat minion. Doesn't make a huge difference because it did not die. Abathur was still there, but instead, the fort will still go down. No, Dagger will save that bot fort, however, will fall. Hang on. Melee minion. Melee minion. Get it?
No, the melee minions are really weak.
There's one more minion coming into that lane. Gonna try and end it. I think that's the Abathur minion actually, but it dies to the keep. As we see Poland starting off on their boss at the Netherlands. Will respond in kind. Very risky here as they are quite low, but luckily no one on Poland is near to react because they are doing their own boss.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Team Poland would now support this boss push with maybe stealing the Siege Giant camp there as well. They're going the exact same direction here, so Team Netherlands is going to have to face a mighty wave consisting of minions, heroes, Siege Giants, and a boss. And add on top of that the fact that they're one level down, this is going to be trickier and very hard for them.
Poland seize that Siege Giant and begin to put some pressure onto that bot lane. Like you said, a mighty wave of force begins moving in, except it's Disintegrate. As we see B-Guy getting rooted, but he's able to attack through it quite nicely. So not too many difficulties here.
So when is the Dutch team going to pull the trigger? Are they willing to let that keep fall, or do they want to prevent that from happening by engaging? But
need 13.
So close, Tetris. So close to 13.
They just need 13. Wolves, the Arthur's clone here, is trying to zone. The keep goes down.
Oh, Arthur's getting very low. That's the copy, though.
Arthur's clone goes down. And we can see there Dehaka was looking to try and punish someone, but they'd already left. Poland have escaped.
So if only they had gotten level 13 earlier, they could have maybe gone for a sneaky engage, even outside of their base when they were fighting the Siege Giants. But the lack of XP was really crippling the Netherlands from doing anything about it. I'm actually okay with the call of them being very passive, because let's not forget about the series life is on the line here. If they lose one more game, they're out of this best of 3, and all of a sudden their qualification to the playoffs is not guaranteed anymore.
Cocoon could have been used on Genji there, but they didn't know where the rest of the members of Poland were. Not worth the risk. Netherlands, even though they are currently on even talent tiers, not willing to take a fight on the unknown. They want to take a fight on even, but they can't afford this. They're going to lose this tribute as well due to level 16 being available for Poland.
Yeah, good luck Atmos trying to channel a tribute there. Position at Avalanche. No!
Horrified, just a smidgen too late with the counter kill onto Karazim. 6 being focused by Gugus, who actually has to run away the drain this time.
Too bad for the Netherlands.
Alive. Zadoon is alive.
Okay, now it's bad.
Yeah, down they go. B-Guy's dropping. Zadoon is chasing through. Kills off 6. And we see Poland taking a 5-for-1.
Oh my goodness, Mana just made that Li Ming look good, Tetra. I could really hear the cheeky announcements of a triple kill, a quad.
Yeah, the reset dings, always fun. As we do see Poland moving in, gonna try and take down a second keep of the game using that Arthur's
mighty rough this time. Even the Abathur copy is helping out here by Wolfsy, and I don't think there's anything Zavalosh can do. And it was so unfortunate that Rhaegar walked the wrong path. He exposed himself a little too early there, and although they were able to get a nice counter kill thanks to the great Horrify, it was not enough, because once that Li Ming gets rolling, once you get one kill with the double reset, it can snowball out of control.
It really can snowball out of control. Let's have a quick look at talents though, while everything has slowed down a bit. We can see that we already saw Gul'dan completed his quest with the alert, and Dehaka just finished his, and we have Arthur's very close to both of his talents being complete, which is going to make Team Poland even scarier. Whereas Greymane only 9 stacks into his cocktail.
Yeah, definitely true, but I don't think it really matters too much because Greymane so far hasn't had an impact at all in this game. So whether he's going to be able to use the cocktail fully stacked or not remains to be seen. 18 to 15 though, that is a lot of value, a big lead for the Polish team.
And the Polish team are not currently going for this tribute, completely ignoring it and moving down to bot lane. They are potentially looking to once again steal these Siege Giants. It will be Li Ming heading up for the tribute. They could let Abathur do it, but they are still missing vision on at least one member of Netherlands, sorry. Gul'dan, I think it was, does reveal himself to the top lane, so now they know. Li Ming's able to grab it, though. They weren't looking for any kind of hard engage at this moment.
And now we need to think back to the games we've had on Cursed Hollow yesterday, Tetcher. Remember Denmark? They were so far behind, but they could still make it and take a game of Belgium. Why? Because they fought in the boss pit. And as crazy as it sounds, I think the only chance for Team Netherlands here is to hope that Team Poland goes for a crazy move, for a risky move, and they can then strike back and capitalize on that. It is a minimal chance. There's a minimal chance, and I really hope Team Poland is strong enough to not fall into that. The biggest mistake they could do is go for that boss here on the Dutch side, for example. 10 seconds, they should really not go for it.
Oh, Genji dashing out of all that crowd control that could have turned it. But like you said,
they're going for it. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say no unnecessary risks, but they've taken 2 unnecessary risks with Gugas nearly getting caught out, and now they're doing this boss. They're on even talents. They are not even levels, or even close to, and they will back up the second they get any vision of the Netherlands.
All right, so at least Team Poland isn't fully committing to it. At least Team Poland knows, okay, we're just pretending, we're just faking it. The horrify is hit, Arthur's running into the enemy team.
They're trying to focus him down. 7-sided strikes, try and catch the damage. Cocoon is dropped. The Ancestral healing onto Atmos, keeping him alive, and Arthur will drop and disintegrate. Too much damage. Li Ming will get interrupted, but B-Guy sacrificed himself. Genji with a reset, though, and that is going to force the retreat out of the Netherlands. They may get more, though, as Gugas decides not to chase any further. Li Ming has other ideas, though. Atmos will drop. Dark Omicron, the only survivor, as the core will be assaulted.
Gugus have my babies. That was one of the coolest Genji plays I've seen in quite some time. The reflex time, the lightning speed with which he's executing his abilities is just astounding. But also, once again, it was Mana who got all them resets, and Gugus waiting for the right moment. Wolf Seed also on that Abathur. These guys really have the built-in synergy you need to carry a game single or dual-handedly. Wonderfully done.
Wonderfully done indeed, and with that victory, Poland are very secure at the top of the table. I believe it is still possible for someone to tie with them, depending on how the other matches today go. For now, though, Bakery, what do you think of that performance by Poland?
Poland again showing their proficiency at these dive compositions and playing them to almost full effectiveness, I would say. Fantastic performance again by Gugas, but especially Mana this time on the Li Ming.
Now, I have to know, what do you have to show us from that game? Because there were some beautiful execution moments there.
So the first replay I have is the 11 versus 10. It's an even team fight. The Netherlands, they're behind in XP, but they're still in it. Greymane's already dead, but they need to take this because they know it's cursed. So Dark Chronicon bursts behind. Look at Mana. He's already been on this flank. He gets cocooned, and now none of his team can help him out. Six, though, who's out of position, Ancestral and Fear. It looks like a good turn, but the entirety of the Poland team is not in his range, so they get no return damage. It's only Arthur's and the Genji clone tanking, and now Gugas dives in. They know this is basically our fight. It's Reset City. Dark Omicron on the backside actually tries to cap, and he makes a really good attempt, and that move stops Poland getting the resets and getting way more kills on that right side. But of course, they do realize in time, they do interrupt it. And this is the curse where Poland open up again that 3-level lead.
So in the first game, it was Gugov playing a wonderful aggressive Kharazim. This time around, it was Arjuf on the Kharazim who played a more defensive protective style. Isn't it crazy how much of a flexibility and hero pool variety the Polish team can go back on?
Absolutely. And I do actually have a highlight of Arjuf on the Kharazim. not playing quite so well. So as we roll it forward, first off, look at Veigar. He completely misreads this situation. He dives in, and his team is nowhere near. Arzuf instantly following up. Look at Six, though. He's down here. He bides his time. He waits. He gets a awesome fear onto that cow team. Instantly blows him up. Now, Gugus is diving in, but he suddenly realizes, wait a second, guys. We only have 2 people. Because, again, Mana is completely separated from the rest of his team in a full duration cocoon. So Poland, they're almost losing this 16 versus 14 fight. But now Mana has arrived, and it's Reset City. It's again gleaming, kill after kill. All 4 of them die very quickly, and Mana just dancing around the team fight, cleaning everything up.
That's Calamity for you.
Yep.
That's Calamity.
That's why you don't go Neurox auto attack build, guys.
For exactly those moments, those 3 moments when you keep hearing that ding and you know you've had a good time. But like you said, the cocoons, once again, B-Guy showing up for his team. Really nice cocoon, full duration. Unfortunately, they weren't able to finish the job in time before Li Ming was able to rejoin her team.
We can definitely say, though, that the Dutch performance was way better than in Game 1. So they did have a little bit of adaptation going on. They did have those strong moments, as Bakery said. Very good kills all of a sudden, but in the end, it was just not enough to stop that onslaught by Mana and Gugus.
Yep, so, guys, that is going to be the end of our first series of the day, but we are far from done. We still have three more series to go. So join us back after the break, where we will be moving into, I cannot remember on the schedule, we'll be moving into Spain versus the Czech Republic.